Yo, YouTube, what's good? This is Mr. Q&A. Mr. Q for short, and especially if you're a student. And I say student because if you can look behind me, you will see desks. I'm in the classroom right now. Yep, in the classroom. I am a substitute teacher. I'm not gonna tell you the school or too much information about my location. I know I ain't famous or nothing like that, but I don't want things to get weird with people that don't have good intentions. So today, I just want to go and give you all a backstory. Just a little intro about who I am, what I'm doing, or who I am and why I started this channel and what my goals are or expectations of this channel. So like I said, I'm Q. A little backstory about me. I recently got out of the military in 2021. I spent 7 years and 10 months in the military. My DD-214 would say 7 years and 5 months, and that they printed it out before I went to my CSDP program. And those who have been in the service know what that is. The Army specifically, they'll know what that is. But for the people that don't know, this program allows service members while they're transitioning to the civilian sector to go into do like internships, go to different businesses and spend time there, work there, go to classes and whatnot prior to them getting out. That way it gives them kind of a step ahead when they get out into the real world. The school that I went to was for transportation or CDLs. And the reason that I wanted to go to this school is because I had started a business in November of 2020 for dispatching services for CDL trucks. Since, like I said, I had my CDLs, and so the transportation industry I felt was at that time something that I wanted to get into. It was just hot on the out there. It was recession proof as it became known as, and so I wanted to get into the game. There's more to that why I got out. My father had passed, my father-in-law and one of my grandmothers had passed, all within 3 months. And so my father was an entrepreneur. My stepfather, he was an entrepreneur, and I kind of wanted to do that. I kind of also wanted to spend time with family. That I had to look back at the door to make sure everybody was listening to me. But my father was an entrepreneur, and so I wanted to go into that realm. I also miss family members and people that in the military. There's a lot of sacrifices. There are a lot of sacrifices, and so one of the sacrifices for me was family. And so I wanted to get out and go and become an entrepreneur. I learned real quick that that was not for me. I can laugh at it now because I've learned different things from it, but going through that period, man, it was rough, especially getting out of the service and you're on a high because now you don't have to wake up for PT, wake up to work out, 3, 4, or 5 in the morning just to get prepared to go and work out for that day, and then spend all day, working. And I'm not bashing the service, man. I'm thankful for the military. I learned a lot, met a lot of people, met my wife through the military, a lot of, friends, and it was good. I was able to become financially stable, get my credit score up and everything. But when I got out of the military, I'm gonna keep it short because I don't want this video to be too long. And my military service, it's a lot. It's a lot that I can unpack, and I believe there's a lot of game, a lot of advice, a lot of lessons that I believe I can shed on people. But I will say this, so you can know the severity, or I don't know if I want to say severity, but know let's just say, I'm gonna just say it, being out of the service, having spent almost 8 years in there, I know, transitioning back into the civilian world, I know why veterans commit suicide. I know why there is a depression and why you see, homeless people. I know it. I know it. And shout out to my wife, man. Man, that's a whole nother thing, man. I know what it feels to, or how it feels to feel being less of a man, not being able, man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that, I'm gonna just keep that, stashed away for a minute, because there are different videos and different topics that I wanna talk about specifically versus having it embedded into another video, if that makes sense. So I got out of the military in 2021. I started out my business, but while I was still in, back in 2020, I got out in 2021. So it was a year pretty much that I was trying to build my business. I was making videos, made a website. I was doing a lot of the stuff. And this was actually a business, EIN number and everything. So I'm not just, I dissolved the business because I no longer wanted to participate or wanted to keep the business up, because I actually never got a client. I talked to a couple people, about 3 people, I believe, sent out ads, Facebook ads, Instagrams, and all that. So I learned how to do all of that, which was good. Nothing really came of it, but I'd say I learned a lot, even just through, just going through that, the process of the business itself. But I dissolved it later on because I realized that I didn't want to leave my family. I just I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, I've been with my family all these years, my wife, son, and now all of a sudden I'm just going to get out on the road, because initially I was going to do dispatching, and I changed my mind because I'm like, well, I need to actually get out on the road. I haven't drove trucks prior to me getting out for 8 years, the whole time I've been in the service. And so I'm like, well, I don't even know what it's like out there. I haven't been out there. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna stop dispatching, and then I'm gonna drive trucks, and then I'm gonna go back to dispatching. It didn't really work out like that, because, as I just mentioned, I didn't want to leave my family. So I was trying to figure things out. And and things became real after that military, that last paycheck. It became real. I was on a high once I got out, and not having to wake up for PT, not having phone calls. I was good because I got out in, when was that? December. So for about 2 months, I was good. That last paycheck from the military, I think, was in January. And then I immediately went down. Man, I got up. I'm heavy now. I'm big now. But I was bigger than this. I was almost 300 pounds. And I'm 5'8". So you can imagine. And so I was, my depression, I don't know if you call it depression. I'm not trying to clinically diagnose myself or say I was something that I wasn't, but I know that I was going through it mentally. So stay tuned for part 2.